There's a kind of man who doesn't need to speak to be felt. He walks into a room and something shifts. Not because he's loud, not because he's flashy, but because his energy says everything before his mouth even opens. This is the man women notice, but can't quite explain why. It's not about confidence in the traditional sense. It's about silent confidence. No boasting, no overcompensating, no needing to prove anything. Because when a man knows who he is, he doesn't need to say much. And that calm certainty, it speaks louder than any pickup line, flex, or clever phrase. Women don't fall for words. They fall for how you make them feel. And when your presence says, "I'm already enough," they feel it. Deep, instinctively, in ways they don't even understand. Silent confidence isn't about being quiet. It's about being rooted. Rooted in your mission. Rooted in your values. Rooted in yourself. In a way that doesn't shake when people watch, doubt, or test you. Most men talk to fill space. They explain. They justify. They try to be liked. But when you carry silent confidence, you don't talk to earn attention. You let your energy draw it in. Women are hypersensitive to this. They pick up on tone, timing, and tension. And when they meet a man who isn't performing for them, who doesn't rush to speak or fill every gap, who holds eye contact without blinking, they feel something different, something ancient. It's not arrogance. It's not game. It's the quiet dominance of a man who doesn't need the world because he's already full. They feel it in their gut. Before their mind can name it, their body reacts to it. And that reaction, it's more honest than anything words could ever create. You see, most men are loud because they're afraid of being ignored. But a man with silent confidence, he's never afraid of being alone. And that's why people, especially women, are drawn to him. He doesn't try to entertain. He doesn't adjust his tone to match the room. He brings the room into his pace. That slowness, that deliberate energy, it's magnetic. Because it says, "I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to observe." And observation is power. He notices what others miss. He listens more than he speaks. He lets silence build tension. And that tension makes her lean in, not to fill the space, but to understand him. Because when you don't speak unnecessarily, every word you do say carries weight. And women don't crave noise, they crave presence. The kind of presence that makes her feel small in the best way. Not from control, but from depth. If this kind of truth speaks to something in you, not the part that wants to impress, but the part that's ready to evolve, then you already know what to do. Subscribe for the man you're becoming. The man who leads without raising his voice. He doesn't just enter a woman's mind. He gets under her skin. Why? Because he doesn't chase attention. He commands it. And command doesn't come from volume. It comes from control. Control over your breath, over your reactions, over your need to be understood. Most men try to convince. The silent man makes her feel. And women trust what they feel far more than what they hear. When you walk into a room and you speak less, but stand taller, pause longer, move slower, you tap into something primal. You create mystery. Not the fake kind that tries to play hard to get, but the real kind. The kind that says, there's something deeper here, something you don't get access to just because you're pretty. And that is irresistible. You're not trying to be desired. You're simply being. And being, when grounded in stillness, is what makes her restless. She'll try to figure you out. She'll replay your words, not because there were many, but because you chose them so carefully. She'll wonder what you're thinking when you say nothing. She'll feel the tension in your stillness. And that tension, it's not awkward, it's designed. You don't need to dominate the conversation. You dominate the moment by staying calm, by being intentional, by letting her feel the full weight of your presence without giving her the full map. This is how obsession starts, not with overexposure, but with mystery plus clarity. She doesn't chase the man who explains himself. She chases the man she can't quite read, but desperately wants to understand. Because that silence, that control, that slow, centered intensity, it makes her question things she thought she knew about men. It redefines attraction. And that's when you stop being just another guy and become an experience she craves. Eventually, she'll test it. She'll push just a little. She might tease, provoke, or try to get a rise out of you. Not to destroy your frame, but to feel its strength. Because a woman needs to know, if I stir the storm, will he remain the mountain? And when you do, when you don't flinch, don't over-explain, don't lose your center, that's when respect hits a new level. She realizes you're not just calm, you're unshakable, and nothing turns a woman on like knowing she's dealing with a man who doesn't bend to her chaos, but absorbs it, centers it, without ever being pulled out of alignment. This is the kind of energy that doesn't beg to be chosen. It gets followed. She may still talk to other men. She may still laugh, flirt, test, but somewhere in her nervous system she already knows. You're the one she can't control, and that is exactly what pulls her in deeper. By now, it's not about what you say, it's about what she feels in your presence, and what she feels is contrast. The world is loud, men are loud, attention is desperate, validation is cheap. But you're quiet, you're composed, you're rare. That contrast is like oxygen to her. When you speak, your words don't entertain, they penetrate. When you move, it's not random, it's deliberate. Your absence feels heavy, your silence feels full. And your approval? That's something she starts to crave, because you don't give it easily. She starts watching her words around you. She starts dressing with more intention. She starts adjusting her energy, not because you asked, but because your stillness commands it. This is no longer about flirting. This is submission without announcement, desire without permission, attraction without effort. She may not understand what's happening. She may even resist it, fight it, because this kind of man doesn't fit the script she's used to. You don't chase, you don't perform, you don't try to impress, you just are. And what you are is rare, unmoved, focused, grounded. In a world where men scramble to be seen, you've made peace with being misunderstood, and that alone makes her want to understand you more. Because women aren't drawn to noise, they're drawn to gravity, and gravity doesn't shout, it pulls, quietly, relentlessly. This is the Stoic path. Remember, the man who controls the room isn't always the loudest. Often he's the one who says the least and means the most. Now tell me this, what's the one moment in your life where your silence said everything and changed how someone saw you forever? Drop it in the comments. Let them feel the weight of your story.